Thanks for joining me. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I did an imaging session on the Crab Nebula. The skies were really great that night, and I was very fortunate to get the target in my field of view. So I'm going to share that with you, and then following that imaging session, I'm going to share some post-processing steps that I did in GIMP 2.10, and then finally end with a final result for you. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again for joining me in Clear Dark Skies.
Hey, good evening everyone. This is Tony here. What you're seeing here is M1, or the Crab Nebula. It'll be done with the imaging in less than an hour now, but I want to let everyone know that I moved out to a dark sky site. There it is. Anyway, the skies are magnificent where we moved, and I'm taking advantage of the beautiful skies, and as you can see, everything looks really great. Let me show you a fuller image of this DSO here. So as you can see, star alignment process went pretty good. I had a couple of mechanical issues I had to work out, but after that it worked out. M1 framed up really nice. I mean, literally. After I got done focusing, I did M45 for a little bit, but then I did M45 and M42 and a couple of star clusters. But it literally, when I went to slew to this object, the Crab Nebula, it locked in. And I didn't have to, not focus it in, but put it in the middle of my field of view here. It just locked right in. It was beautiful. But as you can see, this is the Crab Nebula right here. This is what I'm currently imaging. Let me show you some other pictures I took before I did the Crab Nebula. I got the Orion Nebula here. Let me see if I can get it a little smaller for you, but that was only a 90-second frame. That's what this looks like in this dark sky. And let me do this. And there you go. There's a little better view of it right there. But isn't that beautiful? So maybe tomorrow I'm going to redo M42 again, because that was just one 90-second frame. I think it was ISO 1600. But isn't that beautiful? And then I did this here. Let me go here and show you. I think this is, it's a double star cluster. You can see one here and then one right here. But this was pretty to take. I think it's M37, M39, one of those two. And then, let's see. And then I started doing the Crab Nebula, which is, where I'm at now. And as you can see, I'm doing 73 minute subs at ISO 800. So this is where I currently am right now. And let's take a look at guiding. Guiding hasn't been the greatest. I just can't figure out how to get it to where it smooths, to where that total RMS error is really down there. But it's, it's been a lot worse than this. So, it is what it is for now, but it's not too bad. So anyway, I'll let you enjoy the session for a while. looking at the imaging session for M1 or the Crab Nebula.
Okay, everyone, I'm about to share some of my post-processing steps in GIMP 2.10 with you. Just to kind of summarize my imaging session, I was able to get 70 180 second subs. So in other words, each sub or frame was 3 minutes, and I was able to get 70 of those. So I took those 70 light frames, just to let you know, and as a side note, I did not do calibration frames in terms of dark, bias, and flat frames. I did not do that. I've done dark frames in the past and stacked those with light frames, but I've not done bias or flat. I've seen many YouTube videos on how to do it. I just have not taken the time to do it. I know I need to, and I do realize it would improve the quality of the image in the terms of the final result when it comes to noise. But that is on the horizon, and I will definitely share that process with you when I undertake it. And all my learning experiences from that I will share with you. So anyway, after Deep Sky Stacker finished, it gave me this autosave file, which is, as you can see, is a TIFF file. But what I needed to do is I needed to convert that into a format that GIMP 2.10 could read. So what I did was I took that file, put it in XN convert, and then converted the file to a, let me see if I can bring it up. It was right here, this PSD Adobe Photoshop file format. That gave me this file. And as you can see, it's PSD file format right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move that into GIMP, which I have open here. And then I'm going to show you some of the things that I've sort of learned through experience and failure, because I failed a lot, and I learned from my failures and experiences in terms of imaging and then post-processing. And so I've done this quite a bit now. But as you can see, here's the file, and the first thing I like to do is increase the view to about 25%. And as you can see, this is looking pretty good in terms of noise level, and you can see M1 or the Crab Nebula there in the middle of the field of view. So what I like to do first is, I think, crop. So I think what I'm going to do is just work on cropping first. Sometimes I'll do the stretching and then the cropping, but I think I'm going to just experiment, try the cropping first. So I got my cropping tool on. I think what I'll do is make my view a little bit more, say even 50%, and that seems to be pretty good right there. And then I'll go ahead and crop that. And there's really a nice star field, and I definitely want to get that star field in with the image. So I'll hit that and then crop it again, just to make sure I'm looking at a decent image here. And that's something I would like to start working with. So increase what I'd like to do now is zoom in a little bit more, just so I can see some of the more finer details. And as you can see, pretty good in terms of noise. A nice star field there. It's because of that Explore Scientific ED102 triplet. I get those nice stars that are focused well and that look really nice and round. The roundness comes from the good polar alignment achieved by the QHY-CCD PoleMaster. And I eventually would like to do a video just on that process itself and share more of the the features of the PoleMaster. I have very much appreciated what it can do in terms of achieving that precise polar alignment. I mean, look at these stars. I did have okay guiding. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I would have really liked that total RMS error to be under 20. For example, I see these guys that have their guiding, their declination and right ascension lines going almost perfectly across that horizontal x-axis line on the PhD2 graph. Mine wasn't, as you saw previously, it wasn't that way, but it wasn't that bad either. I pretty much kept it to 50 and under, again, in terms of the total RMS error. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on with this post-processing, some of this post-processing, these steps here that I said that I was going to share with you. So I basically have cropped it, and as you can see here, there's the M1 of the Crab Nebula there. So what I'm going to do is try to do a little stretching to bring out some more of that nebulosity. So let's watch and see what happens there. And I like what it's doing to that star field too. Not too bad. It looks pretty good. Maybe go a little bit down. This part here you got to be careful with, because it's, at least it's been in my experience, that if you do that part too much, it shows more of the noise in the frame. So I think I'm going to call it a day right there. Go back to colors and do some shadow and highlights and see what we can bring out there. And ooh, that looked pretty good. Look at that. Wow. And I don't really see, there's a little bit of noise in there. See some of that red in there? That's your pixels that I know would be, much of that would have been eliminated if I had done the calibration frames, but that looked pretty good. Let's do some highlight adjustment now. See what we can get out of that. A lot of times for me it's just experimenting with these different tools, and to see what it does. Lots of just experimenting and playing around with the different tools inside of this GIMP program. I think that looks pretty good. I think I could probably do a little bit better. So I think I'll go up to brightness and contrast now and see what we can do here. Got to be careful not to do too much of this, because I don't want to lose a lot of that nebulosity, but that's looking pretty good. Increase this a little bit. Increase that a little. Okay. Looking pretty good. I think now I'll go to filters, enhance, and now go to the noise reduction tool. Turn that up a little bit. Click OK. And it gets rid of a lot of that noise in there, as you can see. So these are some of the things I've been doing in post-processing, in terms of kind of learning as I go, learning by doing. And I hope you've enjoyed what I've showed you. I'm going to continue to work in this, and then when this video is over, right before it's over, I'll show you a finished result. So that is coming up next.